This is the Maths Genie GCSE Mathematics Practice Paper 3 for June 2023 and is a reflection or done in the style of the Edexcel exam papers. Right, let's take a look at this and we can have a look and see how we go through with from question 1. And first question here is, it says, write down 2 factors of 20. Well, we can think about listing the factors of 20, but as long as we write down any 2 of these, it should be fine. But the factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. So we're just looking for any 2 of those, really. So we could just say perhaps 1 and 20. That's enough. We just got to write 2 down. So 1 and 20 on the answer line. Question 2. Write 40% as a fraction. Really nice and straightforward. Percent, of course, means out of 100. So we're just going to write this as 40 out of 100. You can write equivalent fractions if you want to, but we'll just leave it like that. It doesn't ask us to simplify it, so we'll leave it as 40 over 100. Next question, write down a 6-digit number that has 7 as its hundredths digit. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. So 6-digit number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we know that that is the ones column. We know that that is the tens column. We know that that is the hundreds column. We want its hundreds digit, so we're going to put a 7 in there. We can only use a 7 once. We can write down, we can use any other number lots and lots of times though. So I'm just going to write down, I'm just going to use the number 1 and just do that. So that's 111,711. So 111. 711, and that's enough. You could have used any other numbers other than 7 in the other places where I put the ones. Question number 4. Write 78.54 correct to 1 significant figure. Of course, the word significant means important, and so we can have a think about how this number is broken down. It's broken down into 70. It's got 8, and it's got 0.5. and 4, and if this and 0.04, if you had this as an amount of money, £78.54, you'd be thinking about this as being, which is the most important part of the money to you? Is it the £70, the £8, the 50p, or the 4p? Of course, it would be the £70, but you wouldn't be happy if we gave you £70 and you had £78.54, because that is closer to 80. So we're looking here for 1 significant figure. The most important is 8, and we keep a 0 in there as place value. So 80 is my 1 significant figure. Number 5, the graph shows some information about car production in the UK over 8 years. And we've got car production in millions, and you can see in year 1, it's about 1.45 million. In year 2, it's about 1.5 million, and so on. This question, though, is about how we read and understand the graph. It says, for how many of these years was car production more than 1.6 million? Well, let's have a look. The 1.6 million figure is just here. So we're looking for this figure here and this figure here. And so it's just 2 years. So in there, we're just looking there to say that that is 2 years. Okay, nice and straightforward. In which 2 years was car production the same? Well, let's have a look. And we see that looks like it's somewhere over in year number 2 and year number 7. So year 2 and year 7, car production was the same. So you should be able to do that. And so years 2 and 7. So 2 and 7 just go down there in my answer line there. Question number 6. There are 3 cards in bag A and 2 cards in bag B. There is a letter on each card. Ali takes a card from bag A and then a card from bag B. List all the possible outcomes. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start off with C from bag A. So we can go CF. Then we can have CG. Then we can have DF and DG. And then finally, we can have EF and EG. And we can do a quick check. 3 cards in bag A, 2 cards in bag B. 3 times 2 is 6. Have we got 6 outcomes? Yes, we've got 6 different outcomes. Fairly straightforward. Number 7. On Monday, Lucy pays for 2 plane tickets, 7 nights in a hotel and 2 theme park tickets. Let's have a look and see what she's going to be spending then. So each plane ticket, she's buying 2 of those. So we're going to do 750 times 2, which is 1,500. She's got 7 nights in the hotel. So that's 7 times by 120. So that's equal to 840. And then we've got each theme park ticket. There's 2 of those. So 125 times 2 is 250. Add all those together. So we want to, show that Lucy pays more than $2,500 on Monday. Let's have a look. So we're just going to add all those together. So we're going to say it's 1,500 plus 840 plus 250. Quickly type those into the calculator. We'll see that that's 2,590. Okay, and finally we just say 2,590 is more than 2,500. And we've shown it. Okay, so nice and easy. Next question. Question number 8. Solve y divided by 5 is equal to 6. Now, for those people who know me well, we're going to put a pair of method lines in here. And we're just going to go times by 5 and times by 5 here. Let's make it sure the examiner can see what we're doing. And so we've got inverse operation of obviously divide by 5 is times by 5. And then 6 times 5 is 30. Answer y is 30. Nice and straightforward. Next one says C on here. I think they think it's meant to be B. We've got 2f minus 9 equals 12. So again, pair of method lines. We're going to make a 0 pair with that minus 9. So inverse of negative 9, or we're going to add 9 to both sides. So we're going to add 9 there. So we get 2f is equal to 21. And then divide both sides by 2. We get 21 divided by 2, which of course is 10.5. So 10.5 there. 10.5. Nice and straightforward. Number 9 is part of a train timetable. We've got Brighton and London. Rosie gets to the station in Brighton at 7:15. Work out how many minutes she has to wait until 07:22. That's going to be just 22 minus 15, but 22 minus 15, answer 7 minutes. Nice and straightforward there. Next one, how long will it take the 7:22 to get to London? Okay, so we've got, so 7:22 to get to London. Let's have a look. 7:22. Well, if we have a look and count on, okay, we can say how long is it for 1 hour? So 7:22. So 07:22 to 08:22 is equal to 1 hour, and then it's got to go on to. So we've got to go on to then 8:08:50. So we need another 8 minutes to get to 8:30. So it's going to be plus 28 minutes. So we need another 28 minutes there to get from that, and we go into, so we've got to there, so we're going to go 08:22 to 08:22 to 08:50. It's 28 minutes. For you to work that out, you could actually just do 50 minus 22, which of course is 28 minutes there, and so it's 1 hour and 28 minutes. So we'll just pop that on our answer line here, and that should be relatively easy. So 1 hour and 28 minutes. Okay, question 10. Adam, Beth, and Charlie share an amount of money in the ratio 6 to 7 to 8. What fraction of the money does Charlie get? Well, let's have a look. So 6 to 7 to 8. It's a bit big to draw a bar model, really. But we can see that 6 plus 7 plus 8 is 21 parts. So we've got 21 parts. So 6 plus 7 plus 8 is equal to 21 parts. And how much does Charlie get? Charlie gets 8 of those. So Charlie gets 8 out of 21 parts there. Number 11, cornflakes are sold in 2 sizes of box. Small box is 540 grams and a large box is 720 grams. Sophie buys 4 small boxes of cornflakes and some large boxes of cornflakes. So let's multiply that by 4. So if we times that by 4, we can have a look. We got so 4 times 540 is 2,160 grams. And in total, she buys that much of cornflakes. So let's work out how many she buys in large. So we've got 4,320 minus 2,160. So that's going to give me, that gives me here, as we do this, it gives me 2,160. It's quite nice. And then we're going to just divide that then by 720. So 2,160. So 2,160 divided by 720 comes out as 3. So 2,160 divided by 720. And my answer there is 3. So she's bought 3 large boxes of cornflakes. Answer there, 3. Number 12. Here is a number machine. Work out the output when the input is 48. So let's pop here 48 there. Divided by 8, which is 6. And then plus 5 is 11. Okay, so nice and easy there. Okay. Here's a different number machine. The number machine is not complete. We've got an input, we're plussing something and then multiplying that by 12, we get an output. When the input is 6, so 6 plus something times by 12, and the output is 168. So 168 in there. So we're going to go the opposite way around now. So we're going to go this way, and the inverse operation of multiply by 12 is divide by 12. 168 divided by 12 is, of course, 14. So we end up with the 14. And 6 plus something is equal to 14. So 6, and it's going to be plus 8. So we're looking for it's going to be a plus 8 in there. So 6 plus 8 is 14, and then 14 times by 12 is 168. So complete the number machine there we've got an 8 in there. So 6 plus 8, and we've ended up correctly there getting that. Number 13. Complete the table of values for y equals a half x minus 1. Start at the easiest place, which is with the 0. A half times 0 is 0. Minus 1 is minus 1. Let's carry on then. Let's try an even number because we're going to halve it. So we're going to say in here, we're going to be doing in here a half of 2. A half of 2, of course, is 1. Take away 1, that's 0. Now we've got some of the slightly more difficult ones. We're going to do a half of 1, which is a half, minus 1 is minus 0.5 or negative 0.5. A half of 3 is 1.5, minus 1 is 0.5. And then finally, a half of negative 2 is negative 1. Subtract 1 is negative 2. So there's my table completed. We've now got to plot the points on our graph. We're going to plot the start at the point negative 2, negative 2. Let's have a look. Negative 2, negative 2 is just this point here. Then we've got to go to negative 1, negative 1.5. So negative 1, negative 1.5 is just here. Then we've got the point 0, negative 1. We've got the point 1, negative a half, 2, 0, 3, a half. And now all I've got to do is just get a nice line in there that joins all that up. So here we go, nice straight line. And what we're looking for here, one of the things to look out for is to try and make sure, obviously, that you do get a line of points that makes sense, that you haven't got a sort of rogue value. Okay, next question. Use your graph to find the value of x when y is equal to 0.2. So again, we can use a straight line to help us do that. 0.2 is just here. We go across here. I can see there There it is. So it meets the line just there. Yeah, we're going to get another line in here. Let's draw that in as well. So we can go down from there, and we can just link that up there, and we can read off on the graph hopefully what that is. So let's have a look. We can see in there that that is the value. Let's have a look. Just zoom in there. We should be able to see that's 2.4. If everybody can see that that is 2.4 just there. So nice, easy way of doing that. Answer 2.4. So I'll just shrink that down again and just pop that on the answer line, 2.4. Okay, next question. Question 14. A group of football fans were asked what their halftime snack was. Table below gives information about their answers. Number of fans: 31 said burger, 28 said pie, and 13 said hot dog. Now, let's have a look and see what angles we've got to do this then. So first of all, we're going to add these together. So we've got 31 plus 28 plus 13 is 72. We know that angles around the point add up to 360. So we're just going to do 360 divided by 72. Gives us an answer of 5, which means that for every fan, we're going to put in 5 degrees. So we're just going to do 31 times 5. 31 times 5 is 155 degrees. 28 times 5 is equal to 140 degrees. And 13 times 5 is equal to 65 degrees. Now, rather than try and draw this and measure this on the screen, I've done one already, which has been measured out. And hopefully our answer looks something a little bit like this. Now in here, we probably ought to put in the degrees that we've got. So we've got burger was 155 degrees. So we just show, even if we're not quite measuring it brilliantly accurately, the examiner knows that we've tried to measure 155 degrees in here. So 155 degrees, and that was representing burger. Then the next angle here was, I think 140 degrees. So 140 degrees. So 140 degrees here. And that represented pi. And then the last angle in here was equal to 65 degrees. And 65 degrees, I think there was hot dog. So we're just going to write in there that that's a hot dog. So hot dog. Question 15. A shop sells compost in 40-litre bags and 50-litre bags. One day, a shop had 2 special offers for compost. You could get 3 of 40-litre bags for £20, and you could get 2 50-litre bags for £16. Okay, let's see what kind of offer they've got on here then. So 3 bags for £20. So that means you get 120 litres. So that would be the 40-litre bags for 40-litre ones. Just get a little bit of 50 litres. Just try and organise our working here. We would get, so how much for £20? We would get 3 times 40. So 3 times 40, which is 120 litres. And that costs £20. That costs £20. And here we get 100 litres. So just timesing it by 2. So we've got 2 times by 50 equals 100 litres for £16. Okay, so now we've got to work out which one's the best. Okay, so let's have a look. So what we would like to do, we'll probably find out what 10 litres cost. So let's have a look and see if 10 litres cost there. So we're just going to divide that by 12. So 10 litres. So divide by 12. So 10 litres cost £20 divided by 12. A bit of a calculator for that. So 20 divided by 12. So 20 divided by 12 gives us £1.67. £1.67 there. And this time we've got 100 litres for £16. So we divide that by 10. I divide by 10 there. Okay, so that's 10 litres cost £1.60. Okay, so which one is cheaper? The 50-litre bags are cheaper for 10 litres. So the 50-litre bags are better value, so 50 litre bags. So 50 litre bags are better value. Okay. Question number 16. There are 800 students at a school. Each student has either a school dinner or a packed lunch. 33% of the students have packed lunches. Okay, so 33%. You can write that either as 33 out of 100 of 800, or you could write it as 0.33 times by 800, and that's quite a nice way of doing it. So that's 264 students have a packed lunch. So that's 264. We're just doing this as a story, and we can actually work this out as we go. 45% of the students are boys. So that's 45 out of 100 times by 800, or 0.45 times by 800, which is 360. So 360 boys. If there are 360 boys, that means there are 800 minus 360. So it's 440 girls. "55% of the boys have school dinners. So 55 out of 100 of the boys, so it's out times by 360. So that gives me 0.55 multiplied by 360. That's 198. So 198 have dinners. And we know that they either have a school dinner or a packed lunch. So we're just going to do 360 minus, so 360 minus 198, which is equal to 162. So 162 are packed lunches. How many girls have packed lunches? Well, we know that the number of packed lunches was 264. And we know that the number of boys having packed lunches is 162. So the difference must be the number of girls. So it's 264 minus 162. Which is 102. So 102 girls have packed lunches. So answer there, 102. 4 marks for that. And just kind of reading the story as you go through, that's helpful. A, B, and C are 3 points on a map. Now, I've drawn this one out separately because I didn't have tools to do this on screen. But here we go. We've got to do a few things here. It says 1 centimeter represents 100 meters. Point T is 250 meters from point A. So point T is 250 meters from point A. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a circle here around with the center at point A. And we needed to draw a circle with a radius, and we just need to look at what we've got there. So a circle with a radius, well, of 2.5 centimeters. So we're looking here for a radius of 2.5 centimeters here. So 2.5 centimeters. And then the next thing, it says point T is equidistant from point B and point C. So what they want here is a perpendicular bisector of the line that is joining point B and C. And so we just put your compass in at point B and draw an arc around, obviously with your compasses open between more than halfway. And you can then construct your perpendicular bisector of the line BC. And so then T is at the point, show one of the possible positions for point T. So we've shown one of them. The other one, of course, would have been, if we'd extended our line over to the other side of the circle, the other one would have been somewhere over here. So you could have had another one. You'd extended the line a bit further out that way, and that would have been another possibility. You only needed to show one of those, so nice and simple. Okay, next question then. Question 18. Tyrone buys a boat. Cost of the boat is £12,100 plus VAT at 20%. So quickest way to do this, if we're obviously adding 20%, it's going to be 12,100 times by 1.2. So 12,100 times by 1.2 will give us the total cost of the boat, which is 14,520. So 14,520. Tyrone pays a deposit of £5,000. So we can work out how much he's got left to pay. So 14,520 minus 5,000 equals 9,520. He pays it in 10 equal payments. So 9,520 divided by 10 is equal to 952. So answer, £952. Nice and simple there. So £952 is the cost of each of his 10 payments. Number 19. Here are the lengths, here are the heights in centimetres of 15 plants. Draw a stem and leaf diagram for these heights. Now they're expecting us to do this sorted. So we're going to look for, first of all, the lowest and the highest and so on. Let's just have a quick skim through. And looking at those numbers, the lowest number is 15. And there are two 15s. So let's just cross those off. So we just cross that off, two 15s. And don't forget, we've got to actually write this in as a stem and leaf. So we're going to go, that's 1 and that's 5 and 5. So that's the stems, 1, 2, 3, like that. So we've got 15 and 15. Next one here, we've got a 16. So we're going to put the 16 in there. So that's a 16 just there. Then we're going to look in, see if there's any more in the 10 with a 10 in the first value there. No more 10s. So let's have a look in the 20s. Next one, we've got, I can't see a 21. So we're going to go a 22. And there's a second 22 down here. That's two 22s. We put those straight in. And we'll go and check and see if there's any more in a moment. So 22 and 22. Let's have a look and see what we've got there that's still there. So what are we looking for here? Oh, there's a third 22. Missed that one. So that's another 22 there. 22. What have we got next? Any more? So no, there's a 23. Any more 23s? No, just the one 23. We've got a 23. Then we've got any 24s? Yeah, there's a 24. And there's a 25 and a 28. So 24, 25, 28. So 24, 25, 28. And then let's look in the 30s. We've got a 30, which is a 3 and a 0. Then we've got, so that's a 30. And we've got two 30s, so two 30s. So a second 30 there. And let's have a look at what we've got now. We've got two 31s. And we've got a 34. So two 31s. And a 34. The key here, we're going to say, we'll take the first one from the thing that we put in there. So that was a 1. And the line, and then the 5, okay, is equal to 15 centimetres. And we've got that there nicely drawn, nicely done. Question number 20. In April, Damola drove 480 miles in his car. Car travelled 46.5 miles for each gallon of petrol used. Petrol cost £1.38 per litre. 1 gallon is 4.55 litres. Work out the cost of the petrol the car used in April. Well, first of all, probably a good idea to work out how many gallons he used. So gallons used is equal to 480 divided by 46.5. So 480 divided by 46.5 comes out as being something fairly unpleasant, 320 over 31. So let's just write that out as a, we'll leave that as a fraction for now. We'll worry about that in a minute. So 320 over 31. Now we can write that in as a decimal if we want, but I'd rather keep it as it is for now. Okay, 1 gallon is 4.55 litres. So we've used that many gallons, so we're going to take, so litres used is equal to 320 over 31 times by 4.55. So again, so we're going to multiply what we had before, so times by 4.55. And that gives me, again, something fairly unpleasant on my calculator. That gives me 1,456 over 31. But if that's the number of litres used, we've now just got to multiply that by 1.38. So the cost will equal 1,456 over 31 times by our £1.38. So £1.38 there. So times by £1.38. And that comes out as £64.82. So when you do that and convert it into a decimal, £64.82. £64.82. Question number 21. Highest common factor of these two? Well, we're looking for the highest number of 2's, highest number of 3's, and the highest number of 5's. So that is going to be 2 squared times by 3 squared times by 5. Obviously, 2 squared is the highest number because you've got 2 squared there. 3 squared is the highest number because you've got 2 there and 3 there. And so you've got to look at what's common to both. It's only 2 is common to both, or the 2 3 is common to both, and 1 5 common to both. And when you multiply those together, you get 4 times by 9 times by 5, which is answer 180. So answer 180. Okay. Next question, question 22. Verity buys 12 bottles of apple juice for a total cost of £15. Verity sells all 12 bottles at £1.75 a bottle. So 12 times by £1.75 comes out as £21. Now, we know that percentage profit is, so percentage profit is equal to the actual profit divided by the original cost times by 100. So that gives me 21 minus 15 divided by 15. That was the original. So that gives me 6 over 15. I should say times 100. Times 100. 6 over 15 multiplied by 100. Answer 40%. So 40%. The table shows the populations of 5 countries. Work out the difference between the population of India and the population of Turkey. Give your answer in standard form. So in order to do that, we've got to take the population of India and subtract the population of Turkey. Let's have a quick look at doing that and using our calculator to help us. It's going to be 1.4 times 10 to the power of 9 minus 8.4 times 10 to the power of 7. And my calculator, when we do that, it does give you something a bit unpleasant. So let's just check that. So 1.4 times 10 to the power of 9 minus 8.4 times 10 to the power of 7, which gives me this number here. So let's just write that down. So as we get this, it gives me in here. Let's get rid of that. It gives me the answer of 131. 1316, and then we've got 6 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this question is actually about place value, and we can number our place value columns here quite nicely. So we know that 1s, 10 to the power of 0 is 1. So the 1s column is here. That's the 10 to the power of 0 column. That's the 10 to the power of 1 column. And we're going to keep going. 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the power of 3, 10 to the power of 4, 10 to the power of 5, 10 to the power of 6, 10 to the power of 7, 10 to the power of 8. And this column here is the 10 to the power of 9. Now, our leading digit is in the 10 to the power of 9 column. So this number is 1.316 times 10 to the power of 9. And so there's my final answer, 1.316 times 10 to the power of 9. Next part of the question is, given that the population of Iceland is equal to 1 over k times the population of Denmark, work out the value of k. Give your answer correct to the nearest whole number. So the population of Iceland, we need to grab that. So population of Iceland, let's just shrink this down a little bit so we can see what it is. So population of Iceland is 3.4 times 10 to the power of 5. So 3.4 times 10 to the power of 5 is equal to 1 over k multiplied by the population of Denmark. So population of Denmark, 5.8 times 10 to the power of 6. Okay, with a little bit of rejiggering, multiply both sides by k first of all. So times by k, but on both sides. So times by k, we get 3.4 times 10 to the power of 5k equals 5.8 times 10 to the power of 6. Then divide both sides by 3.4 times 10 to the power of 5. And divide this side here by 3.4 times 10 to the power of 5. We can see here that we end up with k is equal to 5.8 times 10 to the power of 6 divided by 3.4 times 10 to the power of 5. If you type that into the calculator exactly as it's written using the fraction key, you get, so 5.8 times 10 to the power of 6 over 3.4 times 10 to the power of 5 comes out as 290 over 17. Okay, let's see what that gives you. So k is equal to 290 over 17. But that's not what they wanted. It says give your answer correct to the nearest whole number. So that's when you organize that, and it comes out as k is equal to 17. So k is 17 there. So k is 17. Okay. Question number 24. The diagram shows the front of a wooden door with semicircular glass window. Julie wants to apply 2 coats of wood varnish to the front of the door, shown shaded in the diagram. 250 millilitres of wood varnish covers 4 meters squared of the wood. Work out how many millilitres of wood varnish Julie will need. Give your answer correct to the nearest milliliter. Okay, so let's have a look. So first of all, the area of the door is going to be 2 times by 0.75. And then we've got to take away the window, which is a semicircle. And so that's pi r squared. So that's pi multiplied by 0.25. Be careful, because obviously the diameter is 0.5. So the radius is 0.25. And it's a semicircle, so it's got to be divided by 2. So that's the area of the door. So area is equal to that. Now, just getting that onto our calculator now. So we've got 2 times 0.75 minus pi times by, and we can type this in using the fraction key just exactly again as I've written it. So we can go pi, open brackets, 0.25 squared divided by 2. And all fairly straightforward. So we end up with an answer of 1.402. So the area is 1.402. But we want 2 coats of varnish. So now we're going to do 2 times 1.402. And that's going to give me the actual area that I've got to varnish. So we're going to multiply that by 2. That gives me 2.804 meters squared. So 2.804. And next bit we've got to do, and now we need to know how much varnish we want. So first of all, 250 millilitres covers 4 meters. So next thing, we need to find out 1 meter squared. So 1 meter squared, we're going to do 250 divided by 4, which gives me 62.5 millilitres for 1 meter squared. Now, finally, all I've got to do is divide the 2.804, and we've got to take that, and we are now going to multiply that by 62 0.5, because that's, we've got that many meters squared and that much for each meter. So take that, multiply that by 62.5. Comes out as 175. So we're looking there for 175 milliliters to the nearest milliliter. Answer there, 175. 5 marks for that. So 175. Okay. Next question. Question 25. Just going to tidy this up and make sure we've got the lines drawn in. Okay, so let's make sure that's drawn in down there like that. Okay, so we've got some stuff going on here. Let's have a look and see what we're supposed to do with this. A, B, C, D, and F, G, H, I are parallel straight lines. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Then we've got E, B, G, J, and E, C, H are straight lines. Yeah, okay, we can see those. Yeah, that's fine. CE is equal to BE, and angle BEC is 48 degrees. They've given us those. So work out the size of angle JGH. So JGH, so that's this angle here. So that's the angle that they want just here. So let's have a look. The way we can do this is I quite like to write on the diagram and draw this in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this angle here and this angle here. Clearly, this is an isosceles triangle, which means that the base angles are equal. So two reasons that we're going to start off with just in here. We're going to start off with reason number one. Okay, angles in a triangle. So reason number one, angles in a triangle sum to 180 degrees. And base angles in an isosceles triangle sum to, or some, not sum to, don't know what I'm writing there, angles in the base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to write down that we've got 180 minus 48 is equal to 132. And then we're going to do 132 divided by 2 is equal to 66. So 66 degrees there and 66 degrees there. So 66 and 66. Next angle here, we can work out this one here if we want to. We could say here that this angle in here is equal to 66 away from 180. So it's going to be 180. So it's this one here. So 180 minus 66, which is 114. So that's reason number two. And that's angles on a straight line sum to 180 degrees. And finally, this angle here must be, that's 114 degrees, because corresponding angles, so it's reason number three, corresponding angles are equal. And there we are, we've got our reasoning, 114 degrees. 5 marks for that, plenty of reasoning in there. So 114 degrees. Okay, next question. ABCD is a trapezium. It says work out the angle of, work out the size of angle CDA. So CDA is this angle just down in the corner here. Now, let's see what we can work out. We obviously need to know a few things. It looks like this is a trigonometry question. First thing that we do know is that we know this length here is 5.6 centimeters there. So we could obviously do with knowing this length just to go along here. We know that the whole length is 21 centimeters. I suspect that, oh, look at this. We could probably do just with working out this bit here. So we can use Pythagoras' theorem. So if I call that there x, we can say, x squared plus 5.6 squared is equal to 7 squared. So x squared is equal to 7 squared minus 5.6 squared, just subtracting 5.6 squared from both sides. And type that into the calculator. So we've got 7 squared minus 5.6 squared, like that. Gives me an answer of 441 over 25. So, and square root that, so we get x squared in here. So over here, so x squared is equal to 441 over 25. Square root that. I'll get up to there. So that gives me 21 over 5, which as a decimal is 4.2. So x is 4.2. So in here, x equals 4.2 centimeters. Now, if that's 4.2, that gives us an idea of where we're going here. We know that that is 9 there, and we know that that is 4.2 now. So now we just got to find the length that we want. We're just going to do 21, because that's the length of the whole thing, minus 9 minus 4.2. Comes out as being 7.8. So that's 7.8. That's my angle, which I'm going to call theta. And look, we've got the opposite, and we've got the adjacent. So we now know that tan of theta is equal to 5.6 divided by 7.8. So theta is equal to the inverse tan of 5.6 divided by 7.8. So, okay, make sure you calculate it in degrees mode, but most of you should be doing that anyway. That's not going to be a problem. So in here, we're going to do the inverse tan. So shift tan of, I'm going to use the fraction key, 5.6 over 7.8. Just close the brackets around that. And that gives me an answer of 35.7 degrees. So 35.7 degrees. And just pop that on the answer line. 35.7. Next question. Solve x squared minus 11x plus 24 equals 0. This one's quite nice because it does actually factorize. So for those of you who are keen on your factorizing, it is relatively straightforward. Hopefully that will give us what we want. So we're looking for a pair of numbers which might multiply together to give 24, and when you subtract them, when you add them together, they give you negative 11. So that's going to be x minus 3 and x minus 8. That equals 0. So x is equal to 3, or x is equal to 8, because 3 makes the first bracket 0. So 3 minus 3 is 0, times by anything is equal to 0, or the second bracket is made 0 by x is equal to 8. So on our answer line, x equals 3 or x equals 8. And that is the end of the paper.